This is Joy News Desk with me, Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up, Gbenyiri Mediation Committee targets feuding factions for dialogue after the Interior Minister gave them a month to restore peace.
The minister is working literally as we speak to be able to ensure that no logistics should be the obstacle to the return of the refugees and the displaced people.
Well, we have details as we go live to the grounds and hear from a security consultant. Also coming up, former MultiChoice Ghana country manager Herbert Mensah asks MultiChoice Ghana to employ a more diplomatic approach in resolving the impasse.
I think that MultiChoice DSTV do need to find a way to show greater humility. I certainly.
Well, we will engage the Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa on that issue. These plus business updates on our desk. Do stay for details. And we start from Gbenyiri. Calm is returning to the Sawla-Tuna-Kalba district in the Savannah region as residents displaced by the Gbenyiri conflict gradually return home. So far, official figures indicate that more than 50,000 people were displaced, with at least 13,000 fleeing to neighboring countries, including Côte d'Ivoire. The violence has also claimed some 31 lives. Interior Minister Muntaka Mohammed has inaugurated a 7-member mediation committee to facilitate the safe return of displaced residents and ensure lasting peace, and confirmed that about 65% of those displaced have now returned safely to their communities.
When the whole thing started, we went up to about 50,000, almost 48,000 plus. But I can tell you, as we speak today, more than 65% have returned home. Yet, the biggest concern we have is our colleagues and compatriots across the borders. Many are coming back, but we want to even facilitate that and make it even faster. In the Bole district, in the Sawla-Tuna-Kalba, a lot of cooperation is coming. Since we met Yagwamura, his chiefs are cooperating, the youth are cooperating. So we hope that, we have given ourselves, maybe by the end of the month or by the time the committee finishes its work, we should be able to get largely almost everybody back home.
Well, Chairman of the Gbenyiri Mediation Committee, Emmanuel Bombande, has been detailing how the committee will get the job done. He spoke on AM Show.
The difficulty of the return of refugees and displaced people. And the minister did indicate that whereas we saw some of them returning, what my good friend Mohammed is saying is true in the sense that logistics could be a hindrance, but another could be the fear of what awaits them when they return. And so the camp now presents itself as a secured environment. The minister is working literally as we speak to be able to ensure that no logistics should be the obstacle to the return of the refugees and the displaced people. And so it's good Mohammed is bringing this up. Our committee in its mandate is working with the minister, and we will be flagging this today as the minister is looking at supporting on the ground the Red Cross and other partners to speedily accelerate the return. Because the return of these refugees in itself, we think would build the initial confidence that now makes it possible for people to be invested in talking deeply about the issues that led to this unfortunate tragedy. Okay. Because we cannot be in a process of dialogue when people are displaced and when people are spread across in ways that does not give us a good language of the willingness to return to what we would describe as the intercommunal dialogue that can build peace. And so I have taken note of that, and we are meeting soon to continue our planning and we will be urging the minister, working with Mohammed and his colleagues, to accelerate this return.
Okay, please help me understand. If I understand, Mr. Sumaila means that there are some persons who are happy to go to the camp, but are unable to go to the camp. But if I understand you, you'd rather the displaced persons are brought back into the country. Just clarity on this.
Yeah, so the objective is that displaced people, whether within the country or refugees who cross the border, should feel safe and secure to come back to their communities. So that's the overall objective. But we have to fully appreciate that whilst we work towards that, the receptacle at this point to provide humanitarian aid, to provide support, would be in the camp for those who cannot easily get back right into their homes and into their communities. So the first stop would be, how do we support the Red Cross and partners, at least for the type of assistance that can be provided to evacuate all of them back. Now, as they come back, some of them would be going back into their homes, others would be in the camp. But ultimately, the camp is only temporal. We want to be able to now see a situation in which they leave the camps and they are back into their communities and integrated in a peaceful environment for coexistence as they used to.
Emmanuel Bombande is a peace building expert. But what's the latest in the town? Isaac Nunya is our Savannah regional correspondent, joins us for updates. Isaac, we understand, at least from the Interior Minister, that about 65% of the displaced persons are returning to their homes. Can you confirm this?
Cannot confirm.
Isaac, can you hear me?
What we can confirm is that 2 days ago, Gbenyiri, there were 34 people, 2 aged male, and the rest were women and their children. For Kalba, there is not a single soul there, apart from the chief palace and the chief and his people who are in the palace. If you go to Gbenyiri, they are not there. Dantere and other community in Bole, you see a good number of women around. The majority are not there. If you see any male, it's the aged who are there. But everybody, nobody has returned. If they want to know where these numbers that are missing from the camp are, then they have to go to the Bruno regions. If you go to Sisi, which is the biggest camp, keeping these people. If you go to Techima, if you go to Wanchi, if you go to Sibrusu number 1, number 2, that's where they are. They are not in their community. Especially with the latest attack around Uru, go towards Kalba. These people are not in their community. So now we have 640 people at the Sawla camp. This doesn't mean that the over 47,000 that are not there have gone back to Kalba or Gbenyiri. They are not there. Many of them have traveled towards Upper West, Bono, and the Bono East region. That's what I'm saying. If the Interior Minister or Mr. Emmanuel Bombade need to know where these people are, they should go to this area and they will see them there.
This is the information coming to you from NADMO or the Red Cross?
Well, what you said, my check, as of yesterday, there are 4 camps over there in the Bruno region. When we checked from Gbenyiri, we were there, Gbenyiri, there were 35 people there. 2 aged men and the rest women and children. Kalba, we have been there. They are not there.
Right.
It's only the chief and his people who are there.
All right.
If the president has given, what we are saying that they should tell a specific which communities are these people. So that we can verify. So Isaac, because the areas I've mentioned.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you, Isaac, for that update. Let's engage security consultant Richard Komadu on this issue. We're grateful for your time, sir. We've heard from the Interior Minister. We've also heard from the Mediation Committee Chairman, Mr. Bombande, on the strategies they're taking with this new task given to them by the Interior Committee. First of all, what's your initial reaction to the latest developments in Gbenyiri and the other communities?
large isolated communities that has been displaced. So we are not wrong if we call them internally displaced people. To that extent, we've set up camps for them. The comfort they will require and many of the health facilities they will require will have to be provided by NADMO, the Gender Ministry, and international organizations such as the Red Cross. So that is what my uncle Bombardier was talking about. That even if those who left the country to Côte d'Ivoire returns back, some will go to their communities and some will want to stay at the camp for some time to be sure that public safety can be guaranteed and security assurances can be provided to them. It is also true that once the police have been there and the military chiefs have been there, the gun-related killings have subsided drastically. And to that extent, people may have the courage to come. But this is where we are. To the extent that the Minister of Interior set up a mediation team, which means that the security agencies, the BNI, and the police in particular have finished with their investigations. They have identified what happened to us, what the prehistorical background information is, what are the antecedents, and what are the precedents that has been said. It was that informed the minister to set up a mediation. So once you are setting up a mediation, what it means is that the undertoning issues, such as the economic issues, predominantly the political issues, the royalty issues, the chieftaincy issues, the traditional issues, the identification issues, and self-governance issues, those cannot be managed by the security agencies. So you will need a mediation team that will call the stakeholders or all the sides together and say, brothers, we have lived here for so long. We are one people. Let us not divide ourselves. What are the issues we are facing? And going forward, what should be the roadmap? Okay, so that is where we are.
Right.
To the extent that the mediation team have not started, we will want to wait for them to start. Then we will look at what their work attains and what will be the objective. But whatever comes out of the mediation will be a way that we are writing history back and we are putting the structures where they needed to be.
All right.
And those who want to join will have to know that there's a structure that going forward, this should be the standard procedure for whatever will happen, because the Sawla-Tuna-Kalba area within the Goja land, that is where the contestations has been for all this while. And that is where I think the mediation team will want to concentrate as compared to some other places.
All right. Mr. Richard Commander, grateful for your time, but right about now we'll have to break in and take this very important meeting ongoing mining and minerals convention. And we understand that the Deputy Lands Minister, Yusuf Suleimana, is giving a speech on shaping the future of Ghana's gold industry. We'll take this quickly and then we'll return to Joy News Desk.
So that whatever decisions we take, everybody will own it. Thank you for your suggestions. Now, I stand here wearing two hats. The Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Deborah, should have been here in person. And then the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Emmanuel Amakofibua, should have also been here for this very important program. This morning when I walked to the office, my minister told me, this is a speech I prepared for this program. Go and represent me because the president is summoning us for a very important program. Then a call came from Chief of Staff to say that go and wear two hats. And so I may look ugly, but I'm supposed to wear two hats. So accept me in that form. The Chief Executive Officer of Gold Board, members of the Diplomatic Corps, representative of the Bank of Ghana, other CEOs, presidents, captains of industry and development partners, civil society, sponsors of this program, friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today not merely as a minister, but a steward of a legacy, one as old as our very land, as deep as our richest ore, and as precious as the metal we have gathered here to discuss. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are here today not merely to discuss rocks and minerals, but to build the future, a future of shared prosperity, sustainable development, and mutual growth. But before I continue, I would like us to be on our feet and ask you to join me in honoring the memory of the 8 patriots who tragically lost their lives in the helicopter accident last month. Their demise must remain a constant reminder of our shared vision. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me and let us observe a minute of silence in honor of our departed patriots. Thank you. Please have your seats. Ghana's gold story began long before the world knew our name. From the ancient trade routes of Wangara merchants to the colonial designation of the Gold Coast, our land has always whispered the promise of wealth. Today, mining remains the bedrock of our nation's economic stability, contributing significantly to government's revenue, foreign exchange earnings, and job creation. We are Africa's #1 gold producer and the 60th globally. Some of the world's top gold mining firms, including Newmont, Gold Fields, Anglo Gold Ashanti, and now Zinjin, have found a home in Ghana. Their presence highlights Ghana's global appeal as a mining destination and ever reflects the strength of our bilateral partnership. The figures are impressive, and we celebrate them. And yet, what we witness today is the paradox of plenty, a nation rich in gold, yet grappling with limited infrastructure and social development, especially in mining communities. Illegal mining, environmental degradation, and the urgent need to retain more value within our bodies. This is our reality, and the time has come for us to change the narrative. The future begins today, and it starts with us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while we are gathered here, I would like us to reflect on a profound question. How do we honor the legacy of our past while forging a future where our mineral wealth truly becomes the property and prosperity of the Ghanaian people? Under the visionary leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we have moved from rhetoric to reform. The reset agenda is not just a slogan, it is a blueprint for transformation, one that is focused on what lies beyond the figures. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in response to these challenges, we have taken several strategic steps culminating in a comprehensive, sustainable agenda and robust policy reforms for the mining industry. These include enhancing transparency, enforcing legislation, and aligning with global sustainability standards to protect our environment and communities. These policies include a comprehensive review of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, and the Minerals and Mining Policy 2014 through extensive stakeholder engagement to align with global best practices. 2, formalization and regulation of the small-scale mining industry to curb illegalities while protecting livelihoods. This has been achieved with the rollout of responsible cooperative mining and skills development program aimed at reforming the small-scale sector built on a model of community ownership, professional mining, and modern equipment. I think I mentioned this earlier on, that the minister will be leading a team next week using what we call the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program to get to the people and to register them at their doorsteps. 3, enhancement of local content and participation to ensure more Ghanaians benefit from the value chain. 4, promotion of environmental sustainability through stronger reclamation and land restoration policies to not just reclaim old mine-out sites, but to transform them into productive agricultural hubs and community assets, and also turning scars into symbols of renewal. Again, it is also to ensure a comprehensive audit of the licensing regimes with strict and fair sanctions grounded firmly in the rule of law. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our friends in the media, we believe mining must continue to serve as a catalyst for industrialization, infrastructure development, and community empowerment. Hence, we are committed to ensuring that the benefits of Ghana's mineral wealth are felt not only by investors, but more importantly, by the ordinary Ghanaian, our youth, our women, and very importantly, our mining communities. This is a paradigm shift beyond the colonial dig and ship model to a value-added approach model. Our vision is clear. Ghana must transform from being primarily an exporter of raw materials to a hub for value addition, the downstream processing, and also responsible resource mobilization must be our focus. We are also embracing digital transformation, leveraging technology for equipment tracking, mineral traceability, monitoring, and also governance. This digital leap, incorporating fintech-enabled solutions, will secure unprecedented transparency and bolster investor confidence. The future we are building requires a strong partnership between government, the private sector, financiers, civil society, academia, and, of course, our communities. This conversation provides a platform to share ideas, debate solutions, and forge collaborations that will shape Ghana's mining story for generations to come. So I say to the large-scale mining companies, partner with us in this new vision. Invest in our downstream projects. Mentor Ghanaian businesses in the value chain, and exceed your environmental and social obligations. To our small-scale miners, the government is your partner. Let us work together to make small-scale mining a proud, legal, and environmentally sustainable profession. To the financiers or to the financial institutions and technological investors, your capital and your creativity are the fuel for this transformation. Invest in our processing facilities and refineries and help us build a modern, sustainable industry of the future. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the task ahead of us is huge, but the opportunity is even greater. Ghana's mineral wealth must become the opportunity, must become the backbone of a sustainable, inclusive, and globally competitive economy. Together, we can ensure that Ghana's gold is not just a resource beneath our soil, but a legacy of prosperity for our people. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, I thank you all for your commitment, and I look forward to transformative outcomes of this important conversation. May the good Lord bless us and bless our country, Ghana. Thank you.
And we heard the Yusuf Suleimana, Deputy Lands Minister, speaking at the Kempinski Hotel on how they're transforming the gold industry. But away from that, former multi-choice Ghana country manager Herbert Mensah has criticized the current management's communications approach in its price row with government. The standoff deepened after Communications Minister Sam George ordered DSTV to cut subscription fees by September 21 or face a shutdown, prompting South Africa's Deputy Foreign Minister to fly to mediate the impasse. Herbert Mensah says public clashes with the ministry are unnecessary, warning that taking an entrenched position could worsen its plight.
What really is the maximum that one can get? And I'm talking not as a government official, as a private person. But if there are ghost boxes, if there are people who are essentially smuggling, if you can use that word in this context, then multi-choice loses out and the government of Ghana loses out. And surely the only way to beat that is to actually drop the prices. I think when you then look at pricing across, it is normal. If the pricing is that exaggerated between Ghana and another country, and you take the tax quotient into consideration, then I'm not really quite sure what the argument is. I think that multi-choice DSTV do need to find a way to show greater humility. I'm not a politician. If I was a minister, I would certainly not have that tolerance for the backwards and forwards and the kind of communication. And if I was still involved, and you're right, I was involved many years ago, Côte Becker, I consider a good friend, as was John Bardenhorst and Etienne Haynes. I'm still very close with a lot of them. My advice would have been tread carefully. You know, silence is far better than I said, you said, I said, you said. You're not government.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the subscribers who don't understand it, or people who think it's a political statement, they should understand that I'm not political. I make the communication and the point from the point of view of A, understanding comms, B, being involved in the industry. Even in my area of sport, we're seeing more and more that people are moving away into the world of streaming,
right,
rather than going back into paid television. So I would recommend that they put the weapons away. And I'm not sure what a deputy minister is doing in Ghana discussing this, unless DSTV is suddenly owned by the state of South Africa.
And you have the Herbert Mensah, a former country manager for DSTV. Well, Benjamin Kofi Kwashi, Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, joins us via Zoom to also share his views on this. Already he's made made statements showing concern about how government and DSTV are handling this situation. Mr. Benjamin Kwashi, grateful for your time on our news desk. First of all, you have already, registered your displeasure at how this thing is being, handled. So far, we know, as of yesterday, that the NCA was meeting with DSTV to discuss further what should happen going forward. But from where you sit currently, what is the situation for you?
Very well. Thank you very much for having me on the program. I think that the minister and NCA, together with the multi-choice entity, have agreed that there should be a boardroom resolution to whatever the impasse is. This is what we've all asked for when this whole thing started. I believe that, there are genuine concerns from the Honorable Minister of Communication that needs to be looked into, especially to do with the pricing framework, and also to indicate that the price comparative in terms of what our people are paying and what other West African countries are paying. I think that the long and short of it is that they have to do something about the pricing, which they would definitely do. But we believe that there shouldn't be a media fight. There shouldn't be a fought them back, like Herbert Mensah indicated. It's not going to help anybody. I think that it was uncalled for, the response that MultiChoice gave after the minister put out a statement. I think there's more to dialogue about in finding a lasting solution than for us to have a media banter.
What's your knowledge of what's happened at yesterday's meeting with the regulator, and also we understand the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister of South Africa coming in to mediate? Do you have any idea what's happened since then?
No, I don't have an idea what happened, but what I know is that the committee that has been set up from both sides, which is being chaired by the Honorable Sam Nete George, who is a communications minister, are doing a great job. They are even meeting over weekends to ensure that we have a lasting solution to whatever the impasse is.
So what do you think will be the position of the minister coming from South Africa? I mean, earlier, you had said that some business partners in South Africa are really concerned about how the situation is going. What are their expectations coming out of this meeting?
Well, I think in South Africa, the investor community has got, questions that they are asking us to our business friendliness as a country, and also looking at the after that we agreed on to have free trade among ourselves. But what we've indicated is that when you want to actually enforce investor comfort, you should also look at working within the confines of the country, the laws and regulations of the country that you find yourself in. In as much as we don't want anybody to take advantage of investors, we also don't want any investor to take advantage of the good people of Ghana. So that is the kind of situation we find ourselves in. What I know is that they would understand that, MTN went through the same thing. We didn't hear any of the media rancor that we are hearing now. So it means that the approach from both parties with this MultiChoice thing is what has landed us here. I'm happy to hear the Foreign Affairs Minister giving assurance to his counterparts in South Africa that there's no trade war, there's no taking advantage of, and that whatever it is, we'll sit down, speak about it, and whatever percentage in terms of reduction, and that is going to be cardinal. And I know that the Honorable Minister has got his terms cut out as to how much he wants them to go in terms of the reductions. I'm sure that after the discussions, whatever it is that they agree on will be in the interest of both Ghana and South Africa.
Well, looking at how things are going with the STV at the moment, how do you, plan moving forward, especially now that there's really a duty handed over to you to ensure that business partnerships between Ghana and other foreign countries are strengthened or increased, between those countries? How do we move forward? What should be the strategy to ensure that there's a fair playing ground for everyone coming in here?
Yes, so that is the investor confidence that we are talking about. I am still the ambassador designate to South Africa. I believe that our roles have been cut out for us. We went through an extensive orientation just last week, and in it we were giving KPIs to work within each country. It's country specific. And it makes our work so easy. It makes our work so elaborate and so detailed. I know that it's a big challenge starting on this footage, but like I always say, when challenges are there, if you want to solve them well, you use diplomacy to be able to get things done and done right. So I can assure you, and I can assure the good people of Ghana, that we will solve this problem. It will be amicable, and we will continue from there.
Have you in any way been invited, at least, to this sit down with this, big platform that serves Ghana as well, to at least help with the mediation process?
No, I've not been. I'm sure that is because I'm still the ambassador designate.
Okay.
But whoever is part of that committee, whoever is involved in it, I can assure you that they are competent people, very, very credible people who will work to find a lasting solution.
All right. We're grateful for your time, Mr. Benjamin Kwashi. And we hope for good news from that meeting. Thank you very much. In other stories, the Bosokai Spare Part Dealers Association is asking foreign-owned retail shops in the business enclave today to shut down. The group explains the move is intended to enforce the Ghana Investment Promotion Act, Act 865, which restricts retail trade to Ghanaian citizens. There's more on this report.
News. It's just the name of a spare parts shop here in Abosokai, but there's no good news here. Ghanaian traders are raising concerns about foreign nationals taking over their businesses, putting pressure on them. We are here to gauge the mood at Abosokai Spare Parts Hub and get their concerns and exactly what they are going through. Anoba runs the Good News Spare Parts shop. He says they've now become orphans in their own land because authorities fight them instead of fighting for them, while foreign nationals thrive in their businesses.
Personally, I feel very, very bad because we are orphans in our own land. Why am I saying so? We don't have anybody to talk to for us, because Nigerian people will come. They will bring the spare parts from Nigeria to Ghana here to come and supply to us. Maybe, let me say, maybe an engine, maybe a Kia engine that they will supply to me, maybe 8,000 Ghana. And I will put it inside my shop. Somebody will go to that person who sold his own to me for 8,000, and the person will give it to the customer 7,000 cedis.
Kennedy Ntil says harassment from the GRA and the conduct of foreign nationals pushed him out of the spare parts trade after more than 2 decades.
Look at a young man like me, hustling to get capital, have my own shop, rent it, and then trying to make a living. Or sadly, a revenue authority will come to you that we have seen you open a shop. I know I've opened a shop, I have to come and register with you. But as soon as you give yourself to this, it's like they have gotten you. The intimidation that they will bring to you, kind of story, what you have not done, they will tell you have done. Especially bringing these VAT issues and other stuff. I've suffered a lot from their hand. Finally, I have to close the shop.
While we were there, a truck moved through the market announcing the closure of all shops owned by foreign nationals by Wednesday, September 10, 2025. But these traders say they've heard such announcements too many times to be convinced. They want real action to secure their businesses. For Joy News, Amadou Biasari.
Well, Charles Appiah is the Ghana Union of Traders Association's head of business unit, and he joins us for a conversation on this. Mr. Appiah, we're grateful for your time on our desk. Do you share the sentiments of these traders?
All right, good morning to you. Let me make some short correction. My name is Charles Kusi Appiah Kubi.
Right, Charles Kusi Appiah Kubi. Thank you for that correction.
I'm the head of Business and Economic Bureau, Buta.
Right, thank you.
Good, sure. Now to your question. Can I hear your question right?
So I was asking if you're sharing the sentiments of these traders.
Of course, they are trumpeting what we've been talking about over the period and how such unfortunate events are hurting businesses and eventually hurting the total economy as Ghana. So we share with them, and we are calling on leadership, the GIPC, the government, to ensure that the laws that they enacted to protect markets in Ghana, they enforce it to the latter. Without fear or favor.
Well, before tomorrow's action, have you met with them, had their grievances, and have you taken these grievances to the appropriate authorities to know what they make of it?
As I stated earlier on, this is not a new issue. It has been with us for ages. Authorities are aware of it. leadership of Gita, we are aware of it. We are in the same page with the Abosokan people because they are part of us. We are only responding as good citizens of this country that were embodied by the Citizen Responsibility Act to ensure the laws of this land is protected, is effected, to ensure that there's fairness in the market, there is protection for local businesses. That is what we are standing in for. So we are not doing anything contrary to the law. There's no ambiguity in what we are doing. We are so much clear in our mind that this is for Ghana, and we are doing it for Ghana.
So if I understand you correctly, I know that these are traders at the Abosokan enclave. Is it that the whole of Guta is also taking up this action tomorrow?
Definitely, yes. You see, the time has come for us to rise to the occasion to ensure that we reduce the rate at which local businesses are collapsing. Yes, as a country, we need foreign investors. But at what point? Is it at the detriment of local businesses? When you go to other sectors, a foreigner probably might have registered with GIPC as sole trading, which is allowed by law. But they come to the market to subvert the process and the flow of market. Ideally, as an investor in the trading space, you're supposed to remain at the wholesale. You wholesale to a local business and you come and compete with the same person in the market by reducing your price. Who does that? Which market will accept that? So it is a call to all markets that if authorities are not taking actions by law, we will ensure that we draw the attention to it by taking our responsibility to every market to ensure that there's sanity within our market. And markets that have been allocated as a preserve for local businesses will not allow foreigners to intrude on it in the name of foreign investment.
So which format is this going to take? Is it just closing your shops? How is it going to look like tomorrow?
We want to get to the point that our message will be clear to authorities. Yes, they want to bring in diplomacy. Yes, we are also diplomat people, even though they call us traders. So, of course, our silenced way of protesting our displeasure in how they have reneged on their responsibility is to sound a caution to every trading organization here in foreigner that is illegally trading within our space to back off. It might not necessarily have to take us a total closure of shops throughout the whole Ghana, but we are going to use Abosokan as a point of call to tell authorities that enough is enough. You give these people all the freebies. Some of them even evade taxes. And genuine business, like local business that we are trying to survive, you put all your pressure on us by overtaxing us. We can't allow this to continue as a people, as traders. So we are aimed to protect our markets, to stand for our right as citizens of this country that deserve better from government.
Well, before taking this step, at least have you contacted the GIPC or even the trade minister on what steps they're taking to resolve these issues that you have?
Oh, last week, we graciously have a meeting with the CEO of GIPC. You see, we are tired with the rhetorics. And I've told you this is an old age issue. But the point has come for us to take an action. And we are taking an appropriate action that is allowed by law. Right. As citizens, we have the right to protect the law of this country.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time on News Desk. Well, in other stories, the Tiwa East District Assembly is establishing a sanitation task force to enforce bylaws against indiscriminate waste disposal and to improve sanitation within the area. DC Ernest Owusu's team says the task force, with the support of the police and the National Disaster Management Organization, will ensure that residents, especially market women, are made to face the law when apprehended.
So as early as 5 a.m., residents in Anyinem and its surrounding towns had joined the authorities of the Etiwa East District Assembly to clean their surroundings. Some were seen cleaning the gutters, they were desilting the gutters. Others were also seen weeding their surroundings. The district chief executive, Ernest Owusu Intim, says he's encouraged by the number of people who took part in this exercise.
Of having Ghana being one of the cleanest city or one of the cleanest country in Africa. So in fulfillment of what the president said, that's all we have started today. So today is the beginning of seeing a beautiful and a clean Etiwa East. We were involved. NADMO, market women, the police service, the prison service, and the assembly staff, and then the community. Virtually almost all the people from various communities also came. Here is our district capital, so we intend to start here. So virtually the entire community were also involved.
Some market women who participated in this exercise chastised some of their members for contributing to the littering of garbage in the markets and in the gutters.
Bola no na yem fan kono ayesa ya nyale na sa ne man be ma yale otu ha na gata no bon kan isi onu ntimi ntri nko afisa ne ma na mudi sisa ase no akata esikwan ena ya dedua wuwo ma sa na yayi ya pa mu chom ya ma mu mpia sha gata na ase e ya badwu aso ya hunti na ya ma huntifo mama ya nya ya hufi wa ese ufie no wa badwu aso ba ya hopoto a na ya ba ya nyina na yale no e be kan ye mama ya siesie manum na hunti
said the district assembles and ye nyina hemfo nyina de ho agimu eye adwuma no minimi se enka ho se ya ye begu so atoa so aye ebendo nyina mu amedwam asiesie ni krom asiesie mantem asiesie no so no ye beboa ama bibia awie epeye.
In an effort for the Etiwa East District Assembly to ensure that residents adhere to the environmental laws and to also ensure that they clean their surroundings, the District Assembly have decided to form a task force that will go around to enforce these laws.
So we are giving signal to people that very soon Assembly is going to form sanitation task force. So if we have distilled your gutter for you, and we come in and we see that you have dirtied the gutter again, it tells you that you are going to pay for it. So this is a gesture that we are telling the people that indeed we are coming. So after this exercise, we are going to form our sanitation task force, which they are going to work 24 hours to ensure that we keep the district neat.
Reporting from the Etiwa East District, Kofi for Joy News.
And this is Joy News Desk. Up next is Business, but after the break.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Chief Executive of the Tree Crops Development Authority, Dr. Andiose Okwa, says Ghana's shea industry holds the potential to generate millions of dollars in revenue by the year 2030 if the right policies and regulatory frameworks are put in place. Speaking at the closing ceremony of the 2025 World Shea Expo in Tamale, Dr. Okwa stressed the need to move away from export of raw shea nuts and instead prioritize value addition.
2025 World Shea Expo, held at the vibrant city of Tamale in the northern region, was the second edition with strategic focus in the shea industry to position it as a global competitive commodity that can generate millions of dollars to boost the economy and support women and men in rural communities, especially in the northern region. Chief Executive of the Tree Crops Development Authority, Dr. Andiose Okra, who joined global leaders at the expo, highlighted the vision of TCDA for the shea industry.
From today and henceforth, if you are in this business or you have any idea, you have any suggestion, anything, those who are calling for ban and all those things, the right place to come and discuss your issue is the Tree Crop Development Authority. This is a body under President Mahama set to ensure that we carry out under the resetting agenda the needed thing for the share industry to go on.
The Chief Executive called on all stakeholders and value chain actors to work with TCDA as a body recognized to position Ghana's tree crop industry, especially the share sector.
From the authority responsible, the vision for 2030 for the share industry is we want to position Ghana's share industry as a globally competitive, inclusive and sustainable sector that delivers prosperity to local communities, preserve the environment, and add value addition beyond raw export.
This year's expo was on the theme Empowering Women and Youth-led SMEs in the share value chain, the role of government and financial institutions.
All right, and that's it for business. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Back to you, Mamiesi.
Thank you, Darrell, and good to see you again. You've been gone for long.
Good to see you.
How you doing?
I'm good. You?
I'm great. And I love seeing you like this, so happy and excited. I wonder where you went.
Now you're making me.
But that's it for Joy News this morning. We'll be back at Joy for Joy News today.